because they don't do a full out. Welcome everybody to the Milltek Sports Civic Cup then here from Donington Park. The cars are making their way out onto the grid ahead of their first of 2 races here today as we head into the middle part now, the second half really, of the championship campaign. It's been a brilliant season so far, some really top quality racing throughout the whole season, and we're looking forward to seeing what Donington Park has in store for us. It's always a really good event, this, for the Civic Cup. It's a circuit that suits these cars, a circuit that generates good racing, but, Paul O'Neill, that's kind of been the case at every circuit so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, hasn't it? And just look at how many cars they've got here. They've, I've got to say, this is going to take a bit of time, actually. There's not that many marshals here today to struggle along and get these cars gridded up. So, as usual, I always say how well the marshals are doing, and they look like they've just about got enough to hopefully get them all on the grid and get this lined up. So once again, boys and girls in orange, thank you very much for having us on your circuits and helping us out get this organised. But the cars have to be in the right grid position, so they're just trying to do that. These cars are going to have a warm-up lap and then be gridded up. So going to be a difficult job for the drivers and a difficult job for the boys and girls as well, just to get this all sorted. And yeah, as you were saying about the racing has just been awesome all year, and I've been so impressed with, and I don't want to curse them, with their driving standards. They've been absolutely brilliant. Top, middle, cup production. It's been ace.
It has, and I hope that continues over the 2 races here today. The championship is being led by Alistair CAMP. He's managed to qualify on pole position for this race as well. He has 4 race victories so far this season. We've also had 1 win for Matt Luff, 1 win for Jamie Tonks, a win for Ben Sharp, who is back this weekend for only the 2nd event of the season. He won the middle race at Brands Hatch earlier on in the year. And also Rob Butler, who finally got that first victory in the championship at Alton Park. So we've had 5 different race winners, a whole host of drivers beyond that have finished on the podium, and it remains wide open arriving here at Donington Park as the cars are lined up then ready, we think, to go onto a green flag lap. It must be, because the production class aren't even on the racetrack. They're on a part of the racetrack that isn't being used for racing because of the way that they bring the cars through from the assembly area. That is not the version of the chicane that we're racing on today. So you'd also like to think those marshals would have moved out of the way if the race was about to start. But this has caught us out before, Paul, hasn't it? So we'll see what happens when the cars do move, and it is a green flag lap. There we go. Thank goodness we got something right. So Camp leads the way in the championship. Matt Luff is the man second place, but Jamie Tonks, Paul, who got his first victory in the championship last time at Anglesey, is only 2 points behind Luff for second place, and they're starting together on that second row of the grid.
Yeah, they are. Jamie Tonks is very impressive, and that win at Anglesey, like you said, the weekend at Anglesey was just fantastic racing from these Honda Civic. They really stepped it up, these guys, and yeah, I was really impressed with some of the moves that they were pulling, some of the respect they were showing. It must be so difficult in a one-mate class, you know, as the Cup guys are going round now, but the production cars as well, just with that little bit less power and a little bit less grip, it's very difficult when you're in the same cars with a bit of, you know, suspension tweaking. It's just so difficult to break away and get away from the marauding pack if you're trying to get out front. So yeah, Jamie Tonks doing a great job, but all of them in general, they're doing a great job. You've got Ryan Bensley, P6, P5, actually, great qualifying for him. And even Ryan, who I know pretty well, he's a fantastically fast driver, and it just shows how hard it is when you've got someone who I regard as one of the best front-wheel drive club racers there in 5th.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan Bensley, third row of the grid then. Let's run through that grid whilst they're on that green flag lap then. Alistair CAMP, the championship leader on pole. Ben Sharp alongside race winner this year, but not a title contender, so have to factor that into everything that's going on out there on track. Matt Luff there is third on the grid, second in the championship, with Jamie Tonks fourth on the grid, third in the points coming into this round. Ryan Bensley and Morgan Bailey share the third row of this packed field, with George ALP-WILLIAMS, the Welshman, 7th on the grid, ahead of Martin Dalzell. Dave Buki with some work to do there from 9th place. He's got Ross Darlington for company on row 5. Row 6 is Phil Wright and Bradley Lane ahead of Paul McHugh and Oliver Barsby, with Max Edmondson and Ben Mills on the 8th row. Max Lewis is next, with Chris Mullen rounding out the 9th row of the grid ahead of Sam LINSSNER, Sam Barrett, Rob Butler, a long way further back than he should be. 21st there, the winner from Alton Park, and Simon Waite. Then we get into some of these production cars with Travis Coyne, Mervyn Beckett, Alfie THRELFALL and Mark Hughes at the front, with Simon Welch and Matt Stenning next. Harry THRELFALL, again, a midfield there position. He should make progress in the race. He's alongside Ed Sibbald on the 15th row. Jon PEERLESS and Nick Charlier next, with Lee Forrington making, I think, his first appearance in the championship, lining up at the back of a 33 car field. Paul, there aren't many club level championships, well, there aren't many championships full stop in this country that can celebrate having a 33 car grid, let alone a one make series. That is really impressive.
It is really impressive, and what will be more impressive is them all getting in the right grid boxes. You see Rossi Darlington there. I feel sorry for these guys at the back because they haven't actually seen their grid boxes yet. They've just come out the pit lane, so they were all lined up on the pit lane exit of the old pits, actually. Say old, the one that we use for the GP track. But my word, there's people who've just picked a spot and gone for it. Look at that. That could be called into question.
Yeah.
Ben Sharp has picked up half of his own grid box and half of a motorbike World Superbike MotoGP or whatever races around here on two wheels anymore. So he's well out of position there. If that was British touring cars, he'd be in trouble. So hopefully he's not, because he hasn't made an advantage. He's just a bit further over than he should be. Yeah,
you can see the difficulty. There's so many different grid markings there. It's easy to get confused. Anyway, the lights are on and they go out after quite a long pause, actually. Now away they go, and further back there's a bit of scattering, but it's Matt Luff that will not Matt Luff, it's Alistair CAMP that will hold the lead towards Redgate Corner. Sharp in second. Here comes Bensley, Ryan Bensley, into, well, fourth-ish. He's three wide with Matt Luff and Jamie Tonks. He's going to go around the outside of Luff. He's a bit sideways though. He takes Tonks out wide with him. Oh, that was a shame. He just couldn't quite get the car stopped for the corner, and that means Luff comes out of the turn in third place. But Ryan Bensley, the advice you gave him before the race was to get stuck in, and he really was.
He really has had a go, hasn't he? And he had to get his elbows out to keep his position, but Morgan Bailey got in front of him, did a good job. He's got the hammer down in that red car. Morgan in that red car, for me, I've seen a few things on track that make me believe that car is going to be very strong in this race. So these three guys leading, look out for that car in P4, because that red car is looking super fast.
He's gaining on them through McLean's, isn't he? It was a three-way fight for the lead. It will be four, I think, by the end of the opening lap. It's Camp from Sharp from Luff. The top three, though, they are definitely being caught by Morgan Bailey, you're right then, who started sixth on the grid. That looks to me like it is Bensley still fifth, isn't it? Just ahead of Martin Dalzell in the yellow 77. So Bensley still managed to hold on to his fifth place, but was briefly challenging for third into Redgate Corner. Hopping and skipping over the curbs, though, and Ben Sharp looks as though he's up for the fight here, doesn't he? Remember, the last time we saw him at Brands Hatch, they had all sorts of engine issues. He wasn't really well prepared for that event. I don't think that's the case here, though, is it?
I think he might look for a late lunge here. Ben Sharp, I tell you what, Sharpie is looking pretty switched on here. He had a great line through the chicane, didn't he? Oh, he's run wide! The leader runs wide! Side by side, this is going to be, is it? Camp's run wide. The new father is going to lose the lead now. Oh, that's a great move. He can get it done. No, it looks like Camp fights back. He's got to be careful here. He's got to be really careful. Oh, and he's let him go. But no, he takes too much curb. Then he runs out wide. That's going to be game over. Bensley and Morgan Bailey are going to be getting right involved in this. This is fantastic stuff.
They're still side by side, Paul. They're still side by side, even though Camp was well off the road and in mid-air as he bounced over the grass. Sharp is sideways, but he's got the lead away. Luff up the inside of Camp for second place. These two are teammates, don't hit each other. Camp just about holds on, I think, but now Matt Luff has got Morgan Bailey to his outside, side by side for third then, as Sharp tries to make good his escape. It's Sharp the leader, then Camp second, Luff third, and they, remember, are the top two in the championship. This is brilliant.
Oh, this is great start, side by side, only wing mirrors bent at this stage, and that's what we want to see. We don't want to see any big crashes and side to side contact massively. So look at Sharp through that chicane. That is how you take a chicane. That's proper front wheel drive stuff. Look how much of a gap he's took. He's done about 3 or 4 tenths out the last corner.
In the background, look, Jamie Tonks still trying to fight his way back through, challenging George ALP-WILLIAMS. That's the black and gold striped Fast R liveried car, but this is all happening behind the top 6. Tonks has gone past George ALP-WILLIAMS, I think. Has he? Let's wait. Yes, there he is. So one more place regained then, but Tonks the big loser really in the early stages of those that are running at the top of the championship. Sharp really pushing on here.
Yeah, I tell you what, Camp is really struggling to keep up with Sharp's pace, and Sharp just trying to get away, and then you've got the three behind, Bailey, Bensley, Dalzell, and they are pushing so hard to keep with these guys, but Ben Sharp really bad on the brakes.
Ooh.
No, it's not bad on the brakes. He was awesome on the brakes. It was Camp that missed his brake zone. This is now Luff's chance to get down the inside for Coppice. No, thinks better of it. Morgan Bailey, who's behind the Luff car, is smelling a bit of blood here. What's going on with Camp? He's having a disaster. The front axle will not turn and he can't get the traction in. Luff's right in his slipstream again.
Martin Dalzell in the background. Look, the yellow car challenging Ryan Bensley for 5th. You do not know where to look here. Luff locks up into the chicane but gets it stopped. It's going to be Ben Sharp that leads them then. It's a shame this is only a 15-minute race. We're already 4 minutes in and it has been an absolute stonker already. There's a spin in the background though. Oh, right back across the track. How are they all going to miss him? Oh, let's hope they do. Amazingly, the car doesn't get collected. That is the 63, isn't it then? That was 63 of Philip Wright. That was a miracle. He got it all wrong out of the chicane, a huge tank slapper, and when the car is fishtailing around like that, you never know as the car's chasing which way it's going to go. There's a back marker in the way of the leaders through the crane of curves. That was not nice to see, Paul.
Oh, it really wasn't. I tell you what wasn't nice to see was Lee Forrington having a problem down through the craners, flat out. The leaders were coming through, headlights ablaze for Sharp. He needed to get past. He forgets his headlights are on. Camp is making him defend, and he is very, very fast into McLean's, bouncing. The dampers on the car working hard. What's happening in the background? There's Bensley looks like he's lost out. It looks like Tonks maybe is back up into P6 or 5.
Dalzell is ahead of him and Tonks was trying to get ahead of him as they went towards Coppice corner. The leaders are nose to tail coming out of Coppice. Yeah, Bensley lost 2 places there. He's down to 7th. Dalzell 5th, 6th place Tonks, although Bensley coming back at him as they go past the exhibition centre. Right, we're a third of the way through the race. It's still nose to tail between the top 2, but you're right, Paul. Ben Sharp has got his racing line sorted through that chicane. Again, he doubles the advantage he's got over Alistair CAMP as they cross the start-finish line. Officially, it's 0.4 of a second between the top 2. A further 0.4 then back to Matt Luff in 3rd, and then a bit of a gap back to Morgan Bailey, who can't quite live with their pace at the moment in 4th.
Yeah, we've still got nearly 10 minutes of this, and it's definitely not over yet, is it? As you can see, they're just starting to spread out a bit, but they do concertina up when they get to McLean's with different lines, getting up a hill, taking that weight of these Civic Type R's up that hill and picking a braking point is really, really difficult in these cars. So really good stuff from the guys up front. Oh, Bensley's off!
Oh, no, Ryan Bensley in the gravel at the old hairpin. Now, that looked like an odd place to end up, even if he had some contact. I suspect something's broken there on that car, which would be unfortunate. So Ryan then is stationary in the gravel. It's a long way off the track though, so I'm hoping that that won't require a stoppage to the race or a safety car period in order to get the car moved out of harm's way. In the production class, by the way, things are a little calmer, thankfully, because we don't have enough pairs of eyes to watch that battle as well. It's Travis Coyne, on his first ever appearance in the championship, leading the way. He's got a 4-second lead nearly over Alfie THRELFALL, and Alfie has not been easy to beat this season, has he?
He's really hoodwinked them lot, hasn't he? Yeah, he's come into production and really set the bar high. I mean, Alfie is a proper peddler as well, so to come in and do that, fair play to him. But headlights ablaze still for the lead of the overall race in Cup is your man Ben Sharp. And I tell you what, Camp has figured out how you get through that chicane, because he's followed Sharp enough now to know he's not going to gain a massive advantage on him. But look at that, they're just so evenly matched as they go through the craners. Really, really good stuff.
It is odd the way the gap sort of fluctuates. It goes up and down and up and down. There's a live snatch vehicle heading out to pick Ryan Bensley's car out of the gravel, so no overtaking allowed down at the old hairpin until that has been completed. But yeah, Ben Sharp seems to gap Alistair CAMP, and then Alistair sort of reels him back in, and then at this part of the circuit you can see how much later CAMP is on the brakes into McLean's. He really carries the speed through the corner, whereas Sharp seems to be slow in, fast out. A great example there of how there are more than one way of getting through a corner quickly.
Yeah, I would say, and that's a change, isn't it? That was Dalzell getting a pass put on him by Tonks, I think. Just finishing it off now.
Yeah, 5th place that is, you're right. So Jamie Tonks, they're still side by side actually as they come down the exhibition straight. Is he going to make that one stick? They've both gained a place, of course, with Bensley going off. They've got George ALP-WILLIAMS behind them, and Tonks, the winner from Anglesey last time out, goes into 5th place.
Yeah, that was a good move, that wasn't it? But he didn't give it him easy, and he's having to look behind him now as he had that pass put on him. So Martin now is having to look in his mirror and see what's next for him on this plate.
Yeah, that's George ALP-WILLIAMS who goes to the inside. That was a bold move into Redgate corner. It's all well and good getting up the inside there, but then you've got to stop it, and George does a good job of doing that, and then doesn't really give Martin Dalzell any room on the exit there. But that was, it is the right of the car on the inside to take the racing line coming off the corner. If you're going to hang around the outside, you kind of have to expect that.
Yeah, you're a brave man to think that door will be open, but we did see it in the first lap of the TCR race where the two boys out front did actually give each other a bit of room. But talk about giving bit of room. Look at Ben Sharp now. The only thing that's going to win him this race, and it's not going to be that curb on the entrance to McLean's, because I'll tell you what, Camp is right on him now, and the only place that's going to save him again. And look at that, he's got his teammate catching him now. Ben Sharp needs to back him up at the chicane and hope for the best, but Ben's line is so straight and so powerful and so fast through the chicane. Watch this. He'll turn in and straight line the last bit. He turns in early and then just opens the lock, and look at the gap he pulls on them two area cars.
Yeah, because Alistair CAMP still can't quite match him through there, can he? So, and of course for the championship, Camp and Luff, second and third in this race, are first and second in the points. It's important here for Matt Luff to try and get ahead of that 45 car and try and get some points away from him. Car number 3 there in danger of getting in the way slightly. That's Lee Forrington again, who is very slow coming out of Redgate corner. That's twice he's been lapped now, so that car must have an issue, you would presume. That didn't really help Camp, did it? Sharp's gapped him slightly, and Luff is right on his boot lid now towards the old hairpin.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? And I keep thinking I'm seeing smoke haze come out the leader's car, but I don't think I am. I think it's the television. I think it's got, someone's punched the middle of our screen and it's got some LCDs that are a bit blue. But yeah, this is a great race, and I tell you what, Morgan Bailey, I thought he might get a bit closer. The only thing I can see is maybe Ben Sharp in the lead, just backing them up a touch more, but that P4 red car in the background will be hoping that they start battling hard in the next few minutes.
Yeah, so we've got 3 for the lead, Bailey on his own in 4th, and then another 3 fighting for 5th in the background. Jamie Tonks and George ALP-WILLIAMS both ahead of Martin Dalzell now, but the 3 of them covered by less than a second at the start of this, the 8th lap of racing then. We're into the final third of the race, 4.5 minutes still to go, and as they come through the chicane, it is Sharp from Camp from Luff then, and that time Camp, I think, did copy what Sharp did. He's a bit closer now heading towards Redgate, and immediately Sharp moves to the right hand side of the road to cover.
Yeah, Sharp knows that there's an attack coming, and the attack might come now because he knows how late the Camp can break. Camp's got to be careful, but I tell you what, Camp gets it done. That's an overlap in my book. Is it going to be? No, he comes back. Ben Sharp got the steering lock off, got the car straight, got the VTEC down, and now he's nice and safe as he goes down the craners. I say safe, he just had a little moment. Camp can't capitalise because he just can't get the car straightened up and braked in a straight line. Now it's close. It's really close now.
Yeah, Camp's had a good exit from the old hairpin through the kink at Starkeys. Another sweeper then at Schwantz Curve. The next overtaking opportunity is the right-hander up at McLean's, and Sharp is going to have to defend the inside line. We know that Camp carries good speed through this sequence of corners, but Sharp is placing the car perfectly. He doesn't overdrive just because he's under pressure. He gets the car stopped, he holds the apex, he prevents the overlap being there for Alistair CAMP. If CAMP is going to do this, he's really going to have to force the issue, and can he afford to do that when he's got his big championship rival right on his rear bumper?
Well, this is the thing. I think he's got to be calculated here. He's left his headlights on because you just never know who you're going to come across again for the 3rd, 4th lap. Look at that. Oh, look at that. I mean, there was a lot going on with track limits today, but again, like you said just the lap before, Camp has really capitalised. Look how well Camp in the P2 car now brakes. He brakes so late and he gets right on the back of the leader, nearly headbutting him through the corner. Look how close he is, and Sharp just can't get that car turned in, but it doesn't seem to matter because his exit traction is just formidable and it gives him no chance, Camp that is, to get anywhere near him down the craners.
I do think Camp's car is handling better. I just think Ben Sharp's driving his on the absolute ragged edge. Look at the way these things bounce around. Oh, there was a car in the gravel there, wasn't there, I think? Camp slowed down a bit more for the yellow flags there than Ben Sharp, I reckon. There was a car, and it wasn't Bensley, it was another one right on the edge of the gravel. Marshall's in attendance, and that means there will have been yellow flags out at that corner. You would think it is Paul McHugh, I'm afraid. Now that car might not be quite so easy to recover with a live snatch, Paul.
You don't want to be driving too fast when there's cars around and double wave yellows, but especially when they're that close to the exit of the entrance to that corner. So yeah, that will be looked at as on quite dimly in my point of view, but it depends if Ben actually slowed down enough or it was just the two behind slowed down too much maybe, but you should always express just a bit of safety through that corner, definitely.
It is difficult, isn't it? Because the rule is that you must slow down accordingly. Well, what's accordingly? There isn't a set speed you have to drop down to, so it's always open to interpretation, and these are racing drivers in a very close battle for the race victory. They will try and find every edge that they can. The end result, anyway, is that Sharp now has the biggest lead he's had all race. It's just a fraction over 1 second back to Camp, who might now, with 2 laps to go, just start to focus a bit more on defending his second place than he is attacking Ben Sharp ahead. Have they got McHugh's car out of the way? They have. I think they've just pushed it back onto the track and he's got going. So yellow flags back into the old hairpin and they can keep on driving flat out. The point I was about to make before that all kicked off is the way these cars bounce and skip and slide over the curbs is one of the reasons why I really enjoy watching this championship, because it always looks like they're pushing. I mean, they are pushing, but when a car is bouncing around like that, it just looks so spectacular. Too many cars and too many championships now have too much grip, and you never see the cars really working hard. A lot of championships, they do just drive across curbs and get on with it. These cars, which I think is great and learns a lot for the drivers, is they do bounce. Look at that, bounce straight across the curb, bounce straight across the curb. You have to hold on to it and release that steering lock angle to make sure you get on with it. Look at this now. Look at this now. P2 and 3 are having to defend. So Camp is having to defend. And look, how many times have we overtook people here? That's a different car, actually, to be fair. That's Nick Charlie here, isn't it? So that's a different car than they've been lapped. They're starting to lap now the actual production cars. Sorry that I've just called you Dan Camish, because to be fair, Campy's got 1,000 times more personality than Dan Camish. I was about to say Stuart Lyons will be happy for saying that. I think maybe Dan Camish is in the queue to do so as well. Now, out of the old hairpin they go then, and Alistair CAMP, 10th and a half faster than Sharp that time, and now we're getting into this traffic, Paul, which can really create some dicey situations, because the performance difference between the production and cup cars is quite significant. Ben Sharp sideways there through McLean's corner. All it takes is for you to catch a bad marker at a bad point and you can drop a second like that. Oh, exactly that. I mean, if you catch one at an apex, you are done and dusted, aren't you? But this is the last lap. I think this is status quo. This should be job done. Yeah, time's ticked down to 0. Checkered flag is waiting for them, and Ben Sharp on his return to the championship, having missed the last couple of events, is going to be... Oh, he's off! Ben Sharp off through the gravel. That is too much of a cut at the last corner. Talk about track limits. He is going to get to the line first after a heart-stopping moment at the final turn. Ben Sharp wins it and is carrying an awful lot of gravel now in that car, I'd imagine. Alistair CAMP second, Matt Luffin third, and Morgan Bailey fourth. And Ben Sharp, with that little cut there, was still only 0.2 of a second slower than Alistair CAMP behind. That was not according to the script. Morgan Bailey fourth, Jamie Tonks fifth, George ALP-WILLIAMS sixth, ahead of Martin Dalzell, Dave Buki, Rob Butler ninth from 21st on the grid. What an effort that is, whilst Ross Darlington rounds out the top 10. In production, by the way, those cars are just about to come to the line now. It's the number 70 car of Travis Coyne from the class pole position who is about to take the victory. I think he will be the next car across the start-finish line, and eventually he will be classified as the winner from Alfie THRELFALL and Mervyn Beckett, I think, although Mervyn was less than a second behind Alfie, and that, remember, is the fight for the production class championship. Mervyn Beckett comes into this weekend some 12 points or so, 14 points or so behind Alfie THRELFALL, but Alfie is ahead of him on track at the moment, and those three have now, as you can see from the graphic down the left-hand side of the screen, all come across the line. Wow. That was entertaining, wasn't it? Well, that was very nice, wasn't it? That was quite a nice race. We've got to apologise to the production guys that we didn't really see much of them because that was just such a scrap up the front, wasn't it? I mean, yes, the racing this year, we keep saying, has been fantastic, but every time I think it can't get much better, we get a race like that with three of the best drivers in the championship absolutely nose to tail at the head of the field for the entire duration, and not an ounce of contact between the three of them. That was squeaky clean. A couple of mistakes here and there, yes, but no dirty driving. It never got too aggressive, and it is Ben Sharp that gets the race victory. Ben prepares and runs this car all by himself. He is a bit of a master of Honda Civic racing, but has taken a step back from full-time racing these days, and Ben, I'm really, really happy to see him getting himself onto the top step of the podium. I can't resist saying this, though, but you can see the British Sim Racers logo there across the front of the car. That is championship on a very well-known sim racing platform that Ben helps to organise, which a certain motorsport commentator also races in, and on occasion I may or may not have been able to beat Ben Sharp on a sim. No way I could do it in a real car, that's for sure, but Ben Sharp, I know for a fact, is a brilliant racer, and look at the celebration as he gets out of the car. Sharpie has got another race win under his belt then, and he, in a moment, once he's congratulated the whole team and got his helmet off, he will have a chat with Paul O'Neill, who is standing by, ready and waiting to chat to our double race winner now for this season. He's only raced in 4 of these races in 2021, and he's won 50% of them, and immediately gets under the car to check just how much gravel is under there, I'd imagine, after his last corner moment, let's call it. We'll get all of the lowdown on what he managed to do at the end of the race when he has a chat with Paul O'Neill. And yes, quite a lot to discuss after that one, I think, Paul. Paul, we don't think your microphone's switched on. There's a big on button at the bottom. If you
how is that? Can you hear me okay?
No, I'm still not getting anything, Paul.
Perfect. I think we're live.
I can only imagine what it is you're saying to me now, Paul. Unfortunately, I can't hear a word you're saying. We'll try and get this fixed, everyone, and we will then be able to get the story out of Ben Sharp. We think now maybe the problem's been sorted.
Can you hear me now?
Paul, over to you.
Yes, I think we're on, aren't we? Right, okay. If you can hear me now, we are going to get... He's gone off and got a picture. Ben Sharp, absolutely amazing. We'll let him have his little pictures, but what a fantastic race that was. I am super impressed. I love this lad, actually, because he always cries when he's with me.
Yeah, I'm not doing that today.
No, are we not doing any crying, Ben?
No, that's my crying for the year gone.
Mate, what a race. Tell me, first, what happened in that last corner?
I think of a brake failure on the left front, because I hit the brake pedal, went straight to the floor. I tried pumping as much as I could, but every time I was pumping it was just going to the floor, so there's fluid all poured out the bottom. So luckily, skipped across the gravel. Sorry to everyone's probably windscreens and everything, but it was all I could do. And I'm so glad when I came over and saw it, I didn't realise it was checking flags. So thank God for that, because otherwise I'd had to park it, because it was dangerous.
We were all saying how well this man had done through the chicane. The boys behind you had started to see what you've been doing, because I've seen your little 7,000 tenths of a second straight line of the chicane, which is absolutely amazing. Your technique for the chicane, amazing. They started to follow it, but then when you went across the gravel, I thought, he's taking the mickey now.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, so, but yeah, it was literally, it was the only choice I could see sensibly to get across without piling it in a wall. Or so I was like, I actually 12 months, last time I raced here at Donington, the exact same thing with something else, so I'm hoping it's not the same thing, but we've got all brand new calipers, so yeah, some work for the boys to do, and hopefully we can get it back out and sort it for the next one.
Happy enough though, go to the next race, you go again. I tell you what, you've done well to keep them boys behind you though. Yeah,
it's amazing. Like, Brands Hatch was tough, obviously we had the engine issues. Luckily Bourne HPP have built me a mega motor now, and we're up the front with the top boys, and sticking it to them. Luckily, I think they had a bit more on race pace on me, but I was just managing to keep them back and just try to manage the gap and go a bit slow in, fast out, so they were never on a point where they could make the attack.
Top man, listen, I'll leave you to it. Final word, I'll let you go, Twin Peaks. I think Goodyear will be well happy that you've covered his logo up. Yeah. What an absolute lad. Look at your team. Have a look at these lot behind. Go on, boys. Yeah. There we go. That's a proper team in it. Well done, Ben. Travis, look at that. You look like you're ready for Liverpool away. What's going on, mate?
Yeah, good. It's a difficult race, to be honest. I saw, who was second? Was it Alfie? I think was second. I was a bit lucky at the start. I got away. I saw him closing down. I was like, yeah, I better get past. There was a bit of traffic in the other class, so got past, and the gap was there. Managed it for the whole race, but yeah, so a bit on sweaty, but yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, mate. You look like you've not even been in a car. You look absolutely fine. But what does it mean to you to win the production class? Because that is a difficult old class, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's our first weekend in this. Been doing another championship, so we've had to learn tyres, brake pads, so it's all new to me. It means a lot to me, to be honest. Yeah, everyone's so good, but also they're so friendly, you know. Everyone, we got here yesterday to come over and say hello. I know, it's a nice environment to be in, so yeah.
That's a really nice thing to say. I like that. He's my new fave. Travis is on it. Good lad. Listen, you crack on, go and celebrate with the team, and well done to you, fella.
Thank Jam Sport. You know, I can't thank them enough, to be honest. They've done so much for me. I rolled the car a few weeks ago. They got me out for the next race within probably a week, so I can't thank them enough. They're here this weekend as well, but yeah, I can't thank them enough. So much support. So yeah, thank you.
Top man. Excellent, lovely words. That's amazing stuff, because I know Jam Sport pretty well. Really good people. Excellent race. Absolutely love that. Cup and production, well done. Andy, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Fantastic racing as ever from the Milltek Sports Civic Cup. They'll be back out again later on this afternoon. Here is confirmation of the result then. Ben Sharp gets the victory overall from Alistair CAMP and Matt Luff. That's significant for the championship. CAMP outscoring his nearest rival. Morgan Bailey was fourth ahead of Jamie Tonks, George ALP-WILLIAMS, Martin Dalzell, Dave Buki, Rob Butler from 21st on the grid. Finished inside the top 10. Then Ross Darlington rounds out that top 10. In the production class, meanwhile, as we saw there, it was Travis Coyne that took the race victory. He finished 16th place overall, and there the number 70 car gets the victory in the end by 6.3 seconds. He didn't just win, he crushed the opposition in that one. Alfie THRELFALL came home in second place ahead of Mervyn Beckett. So again, Alfie outscores his nearest championship rival in the production class. So, lots of people piling into Donington Park this weekend, and one of the many things they're looking forward to seeing is the MCHUGH Drift Pro Championship. That will be out in just a few minutes' time.